Well, good evening to all pro wrestling fans from all around the world of all shapes and sizes. Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, for this video, going to be doing two reviews. First off, I'm going to review the last weekend's Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor 2024 pay-per-view. And then I'm going to review GCW, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport XI. This was my first time seeing a Bloodsport show. So I figured, why not review it? You know what I mean? Why not review it? So, let's go ahead and get started with ROH Death Before Dishonor. This took place at the... Oh, 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Death Before Dishonor. This year's Death Before Dishonor took place in Arlington, Texas at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. And lately, that was recently where they've, I believe, recorded a couple of ROH episodes as well as this pay-per-view. So I thought that was pretty neat. But we had a lot of matches, of course, in the 0-hour pre-show as well as the main card. But yeah, they added a handful of matches as well. Ended up having a total of 4 pre-show matches before going into the main card. And pretty much all the titles were on the line. Or all the titles except for one. All the titles except for one. But anyway, let's jump right on into the review. Starting with the pre-show, let's take a look at this first match. Now, I don't have graphics for a few of these, so just a FYI. But anyway, we had the debuting MXM collection, which is Mason Madden and Mansoor. They were in action to kick off the 0 hour, and they took on Spanish Announce Project, which is Angelico and Serpentico. You know what? Pretty decent match, but it definitely seemed like MXM collection was in control pretty much throughout 80% of the match. I mean, Angelico got in his decent bit of offense, and even Serpentico did a little something. But for the most part, MXM collection were in control throughout the match. But it was a pretty decent match overall. Mansoor ended up pinning Serpentico after hitting the centerfold, which is their double team finisher. Really cool finisher, if you ask me. But yeah, MXM collection picks up the victory and even went as far as to challenging FTR backstage. So, big move. Really big move there. But yeah, pretty decent match. Let's see. Next up, we had a singles match with the women's division. We had The Problem, Marina Shafir, taking on Angelica Risk. It was a squash. Match did not take long. Angelica got in a few shots, but didn't really faze Marina Shafir. And Marina just pretty much took care of business like that. Submitted Angelica Risk with the Mother's Milk. Easy victory for Marina Shafir. I couldn't help but notice she was slapping hands with the fans. Huh. Interesting. I didn't think she was known for doing that. I always figured she was mainly a heel, but interesting. But yeah, Marina Shafir with the easy victory. All right. Next up, back to tag team action. We had the team of Griff, Garrison, and Anthony Henry taking on the Infantry, which is Charlie Bravo and Shawn Dean. Anthony Henry and Griff Garrison did a little something at first, but then just right near the end of the match, they just could not get on the same page. And I mean, you know, the Infantry, they've been teaming up for a good long while now, so pretty much well-known team, especially when it comes to ROH. So definitely always fun to see Charlie Bravo, Shawn Dean, and of course usually Trish Adora is with them as well. But when it all came down to it, the Infantry was too much for Anthony Henry and Griff Garrison, who at one point kind of left Anthony Henry to fend for himself. And then that's when the Infantry finished him off. Shawn Dean pinned Anthony Henry after they hit Bravo Boot Camp. Pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. The Infantry with a victory on the 0 hour of Death Before Dishonor. Good stuff. And then, I got a graphic for this. The final match of the 0 hour came down to this tag team match. Alrighty, we had the Outrunners, made up of Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, taking on Top Flight, Darius and Dante Martin. Of course, always great to see Top Flight in action. I'm definitely a big fan of Top Flight. Still hoping that one day they'll become tag champs, whether in ROH or in AEW. I really hope it eventually happens because they are that good. Main thing is they just got to stay healthy. They've had some injury woes during their time in ROH and AEW, but I really hope they can get on solid footing and can stay healthy because they are a phenomenal tag team. And, you know, this was a really good bout to close out the 0 hour between the Outrunners and Top Flight. Definitely went back and forth. But when it was all said and done, Top Flight shows why they are one of the hot tag teams, especially in ROH. Not to mention, they have been undefeated in ROH as well as a tag team. So, pretty neat. But yeah, Darius drops Truth Magnum with kind of like a variation of an F5 almost. And then pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. Dante and Darius Martin, Top Flight, are your winners to close out the Death Before Dishonor 0 hour. Really great showing there. But yeah, love me some Top Flight. Okay. And then we get into our main card. So, kicking off the main card, we had a singles match, a really, really excellent singles match, in my opinion. We had Komander taking on the Beast Mortos. I have to say, this was a solid back and forth match. A lot of strength shown, a lot of power moves, a lot of high flying as well. It was a great balance of styles in this match. Like from start to finish, this went back and forth. It really could have gone either way. I mean, both guys looked excellent. Both looked really excellent. But the Beast Mortos just ended up being a little better in this match, as he was able to eventually put away Komander for the 1, 2, 3 after hitting a variation of a Gonzo bomb. I don't know if he has a name for it. If y'all know the name of this finisher, please share. But yeah, the Beast Mortos picked up a victory, but it was not an easy match for him whatsoever. Definitely not an easy match. But great win. All right. Let's go into our next match as we're about to have our first championship match of the card. Here we go. All right, we have the ROH World Tag Team Championships on the line. As the champions, the Undisputed Kingdom, made up of Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, defended against the Conglomeration, made up of Kyle O'Reilly and the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii. Very enjoyable tag team match, hard hitting from both teams. But I have to say, I have been very impressed with Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii as a tag team. Like, they showed great synergy in this match. I mean, just hitting all sorts of double team moves, even hitting a Chasing the Dragon. They even hit a Chasing the Dragon. I was just like, oh, snap. I see you, O'Reilly and Ishii. Let's go. I was loving it. I was really, really loving it. But definitely love their chemistry together. And you know what? They looked like a strong favorite to win this match. But, of course, Kyle Fletcher and Turkey Neck Don Callis just had to interfere. And then all of a sudden, low blow to Kyle O'Reilly. Then Mike Bennett rolls him up for the pin. 1, 2, 3. So, distraction there from Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher led to the downfall of the Conglomeration as Mike Bennett took advantage of the distraction with the low blow before rolling him up. So, but I'm sure things are definitely not over between the Conglomeration and Undisputed Kingdom, but you got to throw the Don Callis family in there as well. So, but yeah, great match. Wasn't a fan of the ending, but I get it. All right. Next up, we had definitely one of my favorite matches of the card. Easily top 3. We had the Texas Death Match between Diamante and legit Leyla Hirsch. This match was brutal. I mean, both of these ladies went at it. I mean, chairs, all sorts of different weapons, even a flip-flop with thumbtacks on the sole, on the sole. Like, wow. Just both these ladies went in with the brutality, and just their rivalry has been pretty enjoyable. It's been a pretty enjoyable rivalry, and it was just really cool to see both of these ladies really just give it their all and really put on a show on this pay-per-view. Like, very, very excellent. And what a finish. What a phenomenal finish. Legit Leyla Hirsch on the top of the ladder, hitting a moonsault onto Diamante through a table. Like, she did it perfectly. And then covered her for the 1, 2, 3. Legit Leyla Hirsch with the victory, and just, wow. Like, very well done, put together finish. A very enjoyable match from start to finish. I mean, both these ladies tore each other up. Definitely one of the top matches of the show. And I think I think Dave Meltzer gave this a 5 stars as well. Yeah, I think he gave this a 5 star. All right. Let's go on to our next match, which our next championship match. This was another very, very enjoyable match. Definitely in my top 3 as well. All right. Something we hadn't seen in a while. An ROH Pure Championship match. Yes, sir. We have the champion, Wheeler Uda, defending against Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty. Now, of course, Lee Moriarty earned this opportunity from the time limit draw of the Proving Ground match that these two had previously. So that's how he got this title shot. And let me tell you, this match went the distance. Went to the distance to the point where both competitors expunged all three of their rope breaks. Both competitors used a clenched fist. Like, yeah, this was definitely a bout that went to the distance, that really showcased how far both of these wrestlers have come, especially with their styles. I mean, both have that technical background, you know, with a little bit of high flying as well, but they got a strong technical wrestling background. So this was really the perfect matchup for them, pure rules and all. And it really could have gone either way. And Wheeler Uda, he's been a great champ. I mean, he's a 3-time pure champion. So definitely this was a match for the ages, especially when it comes to pure rules matches. But yeah, just to kind of go over some notes. Lee was the first one to use a rope break, then Wheeler Uda. Then Wheeler Uda had the warning for the closed fist. Then Lee used his second rope break. Then he got a warning for a closed fist. Then Uda used his second rope break and final rope break. Then Lee used his final rope break. And then eventually Lee Moriarty was able to roll up Wheeler Uda for the 1, 2, 3. Was caught in a submission, was at the ropes, but of course the rope breaks have been used up. But Lee was able to turn it into a roll-up to pin Wheeler Uda. And Lee Moriarty is your new ROH Pure Champion. First time holding this title. Congratulations to Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty. And a great sign of sportsmanship after the match as Wheeler Uda took the title, put it around the waist of Lee Moriarty, shook his hand and left. So good sportsmanship there. But a really big moment for Lee Moriarty. Now ROH Pure Champion. I look forward to see what kind of run he has. I really do, because the dude is very talented, very great in the ring. All right, let's go to our next matchup. Back to the ladies. Alrighty. We have the ROH Women's World Television Championship on the line as the champion, Billie Starkz, which I believe this is her first defense, takes on Red Velvet. Now, I have to say, this was a great match. Both ladies looked really good. And I have to say, ever since Red Velvet returned, you know, she's definitely been looking really, really good in the ring. Definitely has improved a lot. And, you know, definitely somebody to keep an eye on. Well, especially now. I really didn't have any complaints about the match. I mean, I know Billie Starkz tried to fake the injury again and tried to pull that angle, which was how she won the title in the first place. But, you know, it backfired on her. And the finish was awesome. Red Velvet pinned Billie Starkz after hitting a somersault reverse DDT, which looked really cool. But part of me is a little bummed that she ended up losing this title on the first defense. I'm a little bummed. Just a little bummed. Because I really feel like Billie Starkz deserved a legit run. I feel like with her being Athena's minion and just the whole storyline that they've had with Billie Starkz and Athena that lasted for a good long while, I was really hoping that she would have, well, Actually, no. Hold up. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Hold up. She did defend it once, but it was in a non-ROH show. Okay, I remember now. Billie Starkz did defend. I forgot who she defended it against, but she did defend that title, the ROH World Television title, in a non-ROH show. I just can't remember who it was against. You know what? Let me look it up right quick. Because now it's going to bother me. Oh, here it is. Against Alexis Littlefoot. Okay, so she has one defense and lost it on the second defense. Okay, gotcha. That's a bummer, though. That's still a bummer. That's still not long enough. I really would have liked Billie Starkz to have a legit run with this title, especially being the first champion. So, felt like she was robbed a little bit there, but at the same time, Red Velvet did her thing. You know, Red Velvet got the title, which I believe this is her first title since wrestling for AEW and ROH. So this was a big deal for Red Velvet. So congrats to Red Velvet, although I would have liked it more if Billie Starkz would have had the title longer and had more defenses. But it's just me. Alrighty, let's go on to the next match. Let's see. Oh, here we go. There it is. Alright, next match. Okay, so for this match, we had an ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Championship Eliminator match where the winners of this match would go on to face the Undisputed Kingdom at Battle of the Belts 11 for the vacant ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Championships. Alright, your teams came down to the Dark Order, made up of Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver, taking on the combination of Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs, which is Dustin Rhodes and Ross and Marshall Von Erich. Pretty good match. Definitely pretty good match overall. You know, this was like maybe the fourth or fifth time I've seen the Von Erichs in action like this. They're great. They're a great team. They're definitely a great team, and you know, being paired up with Dustin Rhodes, I mean, that's a lot of history represented. A lot of history represented in this team. Match was all right. I can't really say anything special or anything terrible. I mean, we saw the Iron Claw used quite a bit, and Dustin Rhodes was able to eventually hit the Shattered Dreams and then put away Alex Reynolds with a curtain call, then pinned him for the 1-2-3, which means Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs win the tag title opportunity. And not only did they win the tag title opportunity, but they actually went on to defeat the Undisputed Kingdom at Battle of the Belts 11 to become the new ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Championships. So, congratulations to Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs on ending up winning those tag titles. So, very good stuff. And, you know, it's just good to see that those titles are back on a team. You know, there was a lot of fears that they would get, after becoming vacant, that they would get retired or whatnot, or just fully unified. But thankfully, that's not the case. So I'm glad that they did what they did. Alrighty. Let's go on To our next match, and this was a wild one. This was a really wild one. Alrighty, next up, we had the Survival of the Fittest elimination match for the ROH World Television Championship. Your competitors, you had the champion, Atlantis Jr., defending against Big Shotty Lee Johnson, the Bad Child or Blackheart, Lio Rush, Shane Taylor, Johnny TV, and the Machine Brian Cage. This was a very enjoyable, entertaining match from start to finish. I mean, you got 6 awesome wrestlers in this match, and a lot of different styles represented in this match, even along with the excessive kissing from Johnny TV and Taya Valkyrie. But other than that, really awesome match. Definitely went the distance. But I'll go ahead and go the order of eliminations. A really big first elimination to start off with, as Lio Rush actually eliminated Big Shane Taylor after hitting a final hour, pinned him for the 1-2-3. I did not think he would be the first to be eliminated, so that was a big shocker. Then Big Shotty Lee Johnson pinned Lio Rush after hitting the Big Shot drop. Then Brian Cage got the pin on Lee Johnson after a powerbomb disaster kick combo between him and Johnny TV. They teamed up to bust that out. And then Brian Cage ended up pinning Johnny TV after hitting him with a drill claw, which, you know, they were kind of working together at first, but then that did not last much longer after Lee Johnson got pinned. So the final 2 came down to Atlantis Jr. and the Machine Brian Cage. It seemed like Brian Cage was getting ready to run away with this. Had Atlantis Jr. where he wanted, was about to set up for another drill claw, but then Atlantis Jr. reversed into a roll-up of his own. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, Atlantis Jr., still your ROH World Television Champion. Like, woo! Atlantis Jr. escaped. He escapes with the title. But definitely Brian Cage looked the strongest in this match, if you ask me. I felt like he looked the strongest in this match. But very enjoyable match from start to finish, indeed. All right, let's go to our next match. And this was the third match that was in my top 3. The sisters do battle for the ROH Women's World Championship. As the champion, Athena defended against Queen Aminata. And let me tell you what, these sisters tore the house down of the esports stadium in Arlington, Texas. I mean, both of these ladies are phenomenal in the ring, and it just really, really showed from start to finish. I mean, just the back and forth. I mean, these ladies put on a show. I mean, Athena has been wrestling and defeating everybody. I mean, there's a reason why she's named the Forever Champion. And Queen Aminata, ever since after she returned and then got signed, she has really been putting on a clinic of matches. And even just her time in the Indies and even going to Japan, I mean, she's really gotten her feet wet quite a bit. And this was a little over 20-minute match. I wish it could have been a little bit longer, but still, it was still a phenomenal match. Both these ladies were excellent. But when it was all said and done, Athena was able to put away Queen Aminata with an eclipse. and pinned her for the 1-2-3. Athena still continues her legendary title reign, and I believe she may be getting ready to surpass Samoa Joe in title reigns in ROH. Let me check. So Athena has held the ROH Women's World Championship for 598 days. So she has surpassed Samoa Joe's ROH World Television Championship reign, which his was 574 days. But he still has the 645-day reign as ROH World Champion. So, pretty much, if Athena can still hold on to the title for another month and some change, then she will surpass Samoa Joe for longest title reign. Yeah, I believe that's correct. Longest title reign in ROH history. So, whew. She might do it, y'all. She might end up doing it. It would not surprise me if she ended up doing it. And honestly, I think she deserves it. I think she deserves it. I think she deserves to hold that prestigious record. So, it'll be interesting to see who'll be next to challenge her. Because, I mean, look at her resume of defenses, y'all. Like, look at all who she's been able to successfully defend this title against. So she won it from Mercedes Martinez in the first place. That was in 2022. December of 2022, because that was Final Battle. She has beaten, and this is a big resume. Check this out. So she's beaten Vert Vixen, Kiera Hogan, Marina Shafir, Miyu Yamashita twice, Willow Nightingale twice, Emi Sakura, Yuka Sakazaki, Sky Blue. Oh, actually, Kiera Hogan twice. No, Kiera Hogan 3 times. I'm sorry, Kiera Hogan 3 times. Diamante, Allison Kay, Angelina Love, Leyla Hirsch, Mercedes Martinez, Billy Starks, Nyla Rose, Hikaru Shida, Red Velvet, Queen Aminata. That's a pretty impressive resume of ladies that she's defended the title against. And that makes now 22 successful title defenses from Athena. Wow. So her legendary reign continues. And honestly, I hope she surpasses Samoa Joe. I really do. All right. And then the main event. The main event of ROH Death Before Dishonor 2024 came down to this. Two familiar faces going at it for the top prize in ROH. The Ring of Honor World Championship. The champion, Mark Briscoe, the Sussex County Chicken, taking on Mr. ROH. Roddy versus the World, Roderick Strong. Overall, very solid match between these two. Like I said, they know each other very well. I remember seeing them face each other back at Best of the World when they were in Concord, North Carolina, where Mark Briscoe got the victory there. But yeah, these two go way back. Really way back. So you best believe they were going to put on a show. And that they did. Mark Briscoe, he got jacked up, bloodied up, you name it, in this match. And steady kicking out at 1. So he was super, super duper supercharged. Redneck Kung Fu and all. Just unleashed everything. And, you know, Roderick Strong pretty much sent everything he could at him. And still wasn't quite enough. As eventually Mark Briscoe was able to get his footing and was able to hit a big old froggy bow on Roderick Strong and then pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. Mark Briscoe, still your ROH World Champion. So congrats to him. I have to say, this Death Before Dishonor was really good. I actually enjoyed this one. This was a really good Death Before Dishonor. Oh yeah. Definitely enjoyable. And you know what? I'm looking forward to what's next in store for Ring of Honor. Great show. And yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, we had a let's see, we had only one title change. Yeah, two title changes, because Lee Moriarty, Red Velvet. So those were the only 2 title changes. But great show overall. Enjoyed from start to finish. Alrighty. Now, before we switch gears to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport XI, here's a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Game Beauty. Check them out. As you continue to enjoy content here at Blitzball Champ Gaming, be sure you take a moment to check out Game Beauty. Beauty inspired by gaming. Game Beauty brings to you video game related makeup and cosmetic products. You have products such as eyeshadow palettes, elemental pearl highlighters, eyeshadow brushes, liquid eyeliner pens by Darius, and even non-makeup products like graphic tees. They even have special collaboration makeup kits, such as this Persona 5 Heat Wave Brush Single, Metaverse Bundle, and even a Phantom Thieves limited edition makeup collection. Also remember that Game Beauty provides international shipping of $60 or more. And if you use the promo code BlitzballChamp, all in caps, you can get 10% off of your order. So be sure to use that to your advantage. Now, back to your regularly scheduled video. Enjoy, and thank you. Alrighty, switching gears to GCW Josh Barnett's Bloodsport XI. Now, as I mentioned, this was my first Bloodsport show that I've ever watched, from beginning to end, all the way through. I would have had the opportunity to attend it in Philadelphia back in April, but unfortunately the event sold out, so I wasn't able to check it out. So I got a chance to see this one, because I've been wanting to check one out. So here we go. Bloodsport XI This took place July 28th. This was at the Roulette Intermedium in New York City, New York. Had 10 matches. Had 10 matches total. And just a FYI, typically Bloodsport shows, matches are done in a ring with no ropes, and there's usually no pinfalls. You win by submission, knockout, TKO, referee stoppage, all that jazz. So it kind of has more of that Raw Underground, NXT Underground, UFC, MMA style of matches for the most part, if that makes any sense. But anyway, let's get started on these. First match. Here we go. All right, first match, we had Brian Johnson versus Hedi Karaoe. Now, I've heard of Brian Johnson before, but I haven't heard of Hedi Karaoe. So this was my first time seeing him in action. Hedi Karaoe ended up getting a submission victory on Brian Johnson. Had kind of like a hammerlock crossface sort of type of submission. It was very neat and innovative. But the match itself wasn't long. It was only like maybe just over 3 minutes. I guess match, fight, whatever you want to call it. I think it's more so a fight. But a little over 3 minutes. Not a long fight. But Hedi Karaoe picks up the submission victory. All right. Let's go into our next fight. Here we go. Alrighty. Got a familiar face here. We got one half of the Creed brothers, Julius Creed, taking on Matt Makowski. Now, I have heard of Matt Makowski, but this was really my first time seeing him in action. And I mean, of course, Julius Creed. I mean, he's one half of the Creed brothers, so familiar face there. This match, or this fight, was just a little... This match was just a little over, or just about 5 minutes. Not too bad. I definitely feel like it went back and forth between the two. It seemed like it could have gone either way. But I think in the last minute or so, Julius definitely took over. And then he had the finish. He had the TKO finish, with the referee stoppage. TKO victory over Matt Makowski. He hit that sliding lariat and then hit a few punches till the referee called for the bell. Julius Creed with the TKO victory. So, really good showing there. Alrighty. Let's go to the next fight. And this featured the ladies. Oh yeah, we had a few of the ladies go at it. So, check this one out. We had Masha Slamovich versus Jody Threat. Now, of course, these two are very familiar with each other. They faced each other, especially in tag team action as well. The Militia, Spitfire. So, very familiar faces. And, Masha Slamovich, she's gotten her feet wet before in previous Bloodsport shows. For this one, I felt like Jody Threat put up a decent fight, but I had a feeling that Masha Slamovich was going to pick up the victory, especially the previous Bloodsport. If I remember correctly, she got beat by Shayna Baszler. So I felt like this was probably going to be the one to see her kind of make a comeback and pick up the win, and that's exactly what happened. She hit a running knee strike and then a couple of punches afterwards. Got the TKO victory over Jody Threat. And, you know, it was pretty neat to see Masha bring to the ring one half of the TNA Knockout World Tag Team Championships as well as the JCW World Championship. So, thought that was pretty neat. But, victory for Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich. All right, let's go to our next fight. And this was a pretty interesting one. All right, next up, we had Charlie Dempsey taking on Royce Isaacs. Of course, Royce Isaacs is one half of the West Coast Wrecking Crew. I felt like this fight went the distance. This almost lasted 10 minutes. So definitely one of the longer fights of the show. But was kind of surprised at the finish. Was really surprised at the finish. But Royce Isaacs was able to pick up a submission victory over Charlie Dempsey. Made him tap out to the STF. You normally don't see Dempsey lose to submissions, especially not lately. But Royce Isaacs, definitely with the submission victory. I thought it was pretty interesting that he came out to the entrance theme of the late, great Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise. But, yeah. I just thought I had to point that out because I thought it was kind of unique. But Royce Isaacs with the STF submission victory over Charlie Dempsey. Alrighty, let's go to the next fight. Oh, here it is. Okay, next fight. Alrighty. We had Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Akira. So this was not a long fight. As a matter of fact, I believe this was the shortest fight of all of the fights on this card. I think it was like barely over 2 minutes and 40 seconds. As a matter of fact, it was just under 3 minutes, so 2 minutes 59 seconds, but still was the quickest fight. There were even times where, a few times where Akira was starting to kind of get the upper hand. But when it was all said and done, all it took was a very well connected roundhouse kick from Speedball Mike Bailey to Akira to drop him and gets the knockout victory over Akira. So, nice little roundhouse kick. Bam! Knocks out Akira. Speedball Mike Bailey with the victory. So, quick knockout for the win. Hey, it be that way sometimes. All right, let's move on to our next match. Here we go. Alrighty. Next up, we had the other half of the Creed brothers, Brutus Creed, taking on Filthy Tom Lawler. Now, normally you would think this should be a cinch for Filthy Tom Lawler. I mean, after all, this guy has a heavy MMA background. He's even competed in the UFC. But for this fight, definitely turned out differently. But for the most part, it was a decently solid fight. It was a decently solid fight. But Brutus Creed, hit a combination of a doctor bomb or a gut wrench power bomb and a sliding lariat to pretty much knock out Filthy Tom Lawler. Referee awards the TKO victory to Brutus Creed. Like I said, was very shocked. I felt like Filthy Tom Lawler had the best advantage of winning this, but yeah. Interesting. Very interesting that it turned out that way. All right. Let's go to our next match. Two familiar faces going at each other. As we have Mike Santana versus Homicide. Overall, I have to say that this was probably my favorite fight of the whole card. I have to say this was my favorite. I felt like it went back and forth and was pretty evenly matched. And, you know, it had a pretty interesting finish that still kept the loser strong, in my opinion. But Homicide ended up showing up and showing out in this match, although Mike Santana definitely did his thing in this match. But Homicide locked in an STF of his own to the point where Mike Santana ended up passing out. Referee stopped the match. Pretty much Homicide gets the submission victory / referee stoppage. But yeah, I definitely felt like this was my favorite fight of the whole card. So, okay, 3 more matches. Let's see. Next up, here we go. Alrighty, next up, we had the host himself, Josh Barnett, take on TMDK's Bad Dude Tito. You know what? I felt like Bad Dude Tito put up a pretty decent fight in this match. You know, it was just a little over 7 minutes, 40 seconds. But, you know, I felt like it went the distance for what it could be, especially between these two. But Josh Barnett did end up getting the victory. He hit a spinning heel kick and then just dropped Bad Dude Tito, got in some punches. Josh Barnett, your winner by TKO. And then the very interesting thing happened. MVP shows up to the Bloodsport ring. That's right, MVP. Montel Vontavious Porter. Used to be with WWE. Well, his contract's getting ready to expire if it hasn't already. But he challenged Josh Barnett. He wants a fight with Josh Barnett. Now, also, let's keep in mind, MVP does have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, he has trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, him showing up at Bloodsport, while it is a surprise, can kind of understand. So, it'll be interesting. Maybe the next Bloodsport is when they have that match. But MVP Josh Barnett could be interesting. Alrighty. Let's go to our next match. Here we go. Alrighty. We had Timothy Thatcher versus Josh the Goods Woods. Fight was alright. Wasn't a fan of the ending. I thought the ending was trash. I mean, these two went at it back and forth, but really don't have a whole lot to say. But it ended in a draw. guess pretty much time ran out or whatnot, and it ended in a draw. Both were outside of the ring, and it just ended in a draw. Both were frustrated about that ending, as you could tell, but yeah, wasn't a fan of the ending, but that's really all I could say. And then the main event of Bloodsport 11 was given to the ladies, as we had the submission magician, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, take on the Pink Striker, Miyu Yamashita. Now, I did not originally know this, but when Miyu was in her teens, apparently she has trained some in MMA. We know that one of her specialties is Kyokushin karate, but I did not know that she has trained some MMA when she was in her teens. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because originally I was thinking Miyu and Shayna. I mean, I didn't think Miyu was much of an MMA. I know she did, martial arts with the kicking, and it was either karate or taekwondo, but I don't know. I was kind of hesitant with this, but the match, to be honest with you, I didn't think the match was that great. Like, I think this would have been better as a wrestling match than as a fight. You know what I mean? But Shayna Baszler won by TKO. She hit Miyu with a tombstone pile driver and then threw a few punches until the referee stopped the fight, awarding the victory to Shayna via TKO. And those were your 10 fights on Bloodsport 11. I gotta keep it real with y'all. I don't think the Bloodsport concept, I think it's a nice concept. Like, I know what they're getting at with this concept. I just don't think Bloodsport really works for, every wrestler. And even with some of the ones on the card, I don't think it really works for some of them. Like, I'll even say Miyu Yamashita. Like, I don't think it really works for her. Shayna, of course. Josh Barnett, of course. Shoot, not even Homicide and Mike Santana, which I don't know if they have any background in that, but that didn't really make sense to me, having that on Bloodsport. Jody Threat, Masha Slamovich, same thing. Like, I don't know. I just think a few of these matches didn't really make sense for this type of format. And I don't know. It reminds me too much of the Raw Underground, like NXT Underground. And I get the concept, but I just don't think it works for every wrestler that competes in one of these. I just don't think it works. But like I said, this show was interesting to check out. I think if anything, the card looked awesome on paper, but that's about it. And I'm sure they've done a lot of that, but I don't know. I just really feel like, and maybe for some of the wrestling MMA fans can really get behind these blood sports, but I don't know. I just feel like with some of the matchups, it just didn't work for me. Just really didn't work for me. But I don't know. I might check out a future blood sport again. We'll see. But it was. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Don't forget to check out Game Beauty. And let me know what y'all's thoughts were. Like, what were your thoughts on ROH Death Before Dishonor 2024? What did you think of the show? And what did y'all think of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 11? Do you like the concept? Did you enjoy the matches? Let me know your feedback. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed day tomorrow. We'll see you on the next video and or live stream. Peace.